The NBA Finals are set. Myles Garrett is a Ram. The Mariners look like they are riding the ship, and I predicted the Stanley Cup Finals matchup. Welcome to JetKoa Sports. I'm your host, standing 5 foot nothing, weighing 100 and nothing, and I have a lot to get into today. The San Antonio Spurs walked into OKC ahead of schedule and walked out right on time. I will recap the Western Conference Finals and give a preview of the NBA Finals. Next, I'll jump to the gridiron, where the Rams are now solidified as my Super Bowl favorite, and I'll jump into all the reasons why this trade makes sense for both sides. Then, over on the diamond, my predicted AL West winner is starting to play some good baseball, and I will also address the new MLB.com power rankings. And finally, my Stanley Cup prediction was spot on. Will I stick with the Golden Knights all the way through? I'll let y'all know today. The Spurs have arrived. Although I've been on the wagon for quite some time, but regardless, they are here. The Thunder were missing two of their primary ball handlers, so Game 7 was always going to be an uphill battle for them, and SGA played like the MVP. But Chet's disappearance was the final nail in their coffin. Chet was a non-factor and did not even take a shot in the second half. He looked scared. He looked beaten. And that left the Thunder with only one of their foundational pieces actually competing in Game 7, and that was SGA. Shea looked surgical and was seeing lanes through three defenders at a time while still keeping his eyes looking for a shot. He outplayed Wemby in Game 7, but the Spurs were the better team. With Castle's all-around game, De'Aaron Fox's calming presence on the ball, Champagny and Vassal's timely shooting, Wemby being a force whenever and wherever he stands on a court, and great coaching put the Spurs in the position to succeed. And Dylan Harper's emergence as a legitimate late-game scorer put them over the top. After Game 2, when I thought the Spurs would be without Harper, I thought the Thunder would win this series. The Spurs needed to get Castle off the ball and needed Fox to do that. Then they need Harper for non-Wemby shot creation. And then by Game 5, the Spurs had Fox and Harper back, and the Thunder were missing Mitchell and Jalen Williams. A huge injury swing in the Spurs' favor. I did like the Spurs' chances before the series started, but they ultimately got a little injury luck here. And looking ahead to Wednesday, the Spurs will be playing host to the New York Knicks in San Antonio. The Knicks were one of two teams to beat the Spurs twice during the regular season, so this should be a great matchup. The only other team to beat the Spurs twice in the regular season was a healthy Golden State Warriors. The Knicks have a lot more scoring options than OKC, and that seems to give the Spurs problems. And it has ever since Jalen Brunson moved to New York 3 years ago. Brunson and Cat are offensive powerhouses, and the New York Wings can also play some solid two-way ball. However, the Spurs have the pieces to compete. Castle will be a menace for Brunson. I am really looking forward to that matchup. Both players are physical, big-bodied guards, and Castle's going to attack him right back when he's got the ball. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. And the wings on both squads match up very well against each other. So I think the series is going to come down to a few things. How will the Knicks guard Wemby? How will the Spurs guard Cat? And finally, what happens if the Knicks wings get hot? The Knicks would probably throw Mitchell Robinson at Wemby. Big physical players can affect Wemby's game, and I assume that will be how it starts. It takes a toll to battle those guys, those big physical guys, all game long on offense, especially when you play the type of defensive role that Wemby does on defense. However, Mitchell Robinson has a broken bone in his hand, so that matchup may not last long. After Robinson, I think the Knicks would move to OG Anunoby on Wemby. He is shorter, obviously, but he's 6'7" and 240 pounds, so he is a big body, another big body to put on Wemby and push him around. Anunoby is a rising two-way player, and he is having an amazing postseason. So you never know what he'll be able to do to Wemby. He is a competitor, and he's going to attack Wemby relentlessly. We're going to soon find out which method sticks and what their ultimate plan is throughout the entire 7-game series. On the flip side, I think the Spurs want Wemby playing a zone while everyone else is playing man. Now, what that means is the Spurs will probably line Wemby up against Josh Hart as much as they possibly can. Josh Hart's the weakest shooter on that starting five for the Knicks, and doing that will allow Wemby to stay closer to the paint and provide backup and weak side defensive help to everybody else on the floor. So that means Cat won't see much of Wemby. Instead, Cat will see a lot of Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Stephon Castle being switched off between Brunson and Cat, and some Champagne. Cat is an extremely awesome passer, and he will be able to see over all of these guys being thrown at him, so he can see all the passing lanes. And the Knicks are going to need to run their offense through Cat and let him attack these mismatches. And alternatively, the Spurs just need to continue doing what they do. Wemby has the team believing they can win now, and they are playing like a team that can win now. Castle is only 21, but he just helped hold SGA, the returning MVP, to a below-average Western Conference Finals, while also averaging 20 points per game himself. Castle is usually the hardest-working guy on the floor, and when you add that to his talent, a lot of good things are going to happen. De'Aaron Fox is a veteran presence that is usually the fastest guy on the court. He can get to the hoop easily and create shots when the offense bogs down. Dylan Harper is starting to get some praises, and it is about time. I've been hyping him up all postseason, and it is all well-deserved. He has become a clutch scoring option for the Spurs, and even showed maturity the other night when stopping Stephon Castle from probably getting a technical foul at minimum. It could have been a very bad turn for the Spurs during a close game at that time. Like, let's say Caruso fouls Castle, and let's say Castle gets up and gets in his face, gets the tech, or even worse, gets ejected in that moment. That gives the Thunder a free throw and an extra possession, and the Spurs lose one of their top 3 players in a close Game 7. That would have been enough to swing the game the other way. Good looking out, D. This finals is going to be a fun series. And while the world and NBA may want the Knicks to win, I think this finals is the Spurs to lose. This is Wemby's league now. Good luck to everyone over the next decade. Moving to another dominating presence, Myles Garrett has officially been traded. The Rams sent to Cleveland linebacker Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-rounder. While Jared Verse is an up-and-coming edge rusher in this league and is highly involved in the pass rush, I think he has the 4th most pass rushes over the last 2 seasons. His sack numbers are not really commensurate with all of that, with all of those other numbers. And we're talking about Myles Garrett. So this is a great trade for the LA Rams. And Cleveland came out on top too. Losing Myles is huge for any defense, but Cleveland is rebuilding, and Myles does not fit their timeline at all. So getting Verse plus some good draft capital is the smart play here. Now they have the ammo to go out and get a top QB next year. And is everybody still upset with this Ty Simpson draft pick? The Rams added a top corner to their weakest unit with one of their first-round draft picks this year. And then they went and added Myles Garrett to one of their strongest units. The Rams were already in my top 3 for next year's Super Bowl, and now it is official. The Rams will win the next Super Bowl, barring any major injuries. Now, we still need to see what happens with the receivers. Puka Nacua. Will Devontae Adams still look good as he enters age 34 season? There's still questions at receivers, and ultimately, what is Stafford going to look like this season? He's getting older, so I don't think you can guarantee anything from year to year. But ultimately, I think they will be ready to roll. The NFC West is going to be a juggernaut, and last season came down to Rams versus Seahawks. In my eyes, this move puts them over the top. Seattle lost some key defensive players, and while I like Mike McDonald's ability to correct those issues, we're talking about Myles Garrett here. The Rams will be an absolute force next year. And they do not need a QB of the future now, so losing draft picks is palatable for the Rams. It's always sunny in LA, and that extends over to the Major League Baseball. The Dodgers are now ranked second behind the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta has been in the number one spot for a few weeks now, and they continue to win games. Their pitching staff is cruising, and they're still going to get Strider back. They're still going to get other pitching pieces back. The offense is humming without Acuna and Riley's contributions as of yet. Drake Baldwin got hurt recently, so hopefully the Braves can keep things going until all of these bats come back healthy. But the Braves are in great shape, and again, they should get better as the season goes on. The LA Dodgers come in at number 2. Their team is rounding into form, and it appears that the Padres and Diamondbacks' chances of competing in the NL West is now over. The Dodgers have some players performing below standards, and they are still easily in first place. This team will also get better as the year goes forward, and that's pretty scary to think about. They're up 4.5, 5 games in the division already, with half their team not playing well by their standards. Number 3, we have the Milwaukee Brewers. They extended their divisional lead over the Cardinals to 4.5 games, and they should start separating from most of the NL Central. One other team will stick around, and it's hard to tell who it will be. My money says the Pirates will end up getting second in the division and maybe be battling for a wild card. But Milwaukee should win this division comfortably. Coming in number 4, we got the New York Yankees, who are slowly chopping away at the AL East lead in Rays. The Yankees are the better team in the AL East, and they get the nod at number 4 in the rankings to go with that. Garrett Cole is back and pitching well, further strengthening the best rotation in baseball, and the offense is scoring from multiple spots of the lineup. Although they may want to find a left-handed infield bat to help out McMahon. And coming in number 5, we got the Tampa Bay Rays. They do everything the right way, it seems. The offense can beat you in a few different ways, and they apply pressure on opposing pitching staffs. Ultimately, I feel they are slightly above average in most areas, but one major step back, and they will fade, and probably fade fast. Now moving to the AL West. The Seattle Mariners have moved into first place over the Athletics. I picked the Mariners to win the division due to their overall talent, but Seattle has underperformed majorly, which is not a new thing for Seattle, unfortunately. They are the only Major League Baseball franchise to not play in a World Series. And they had Ichiro, and Alex Rodriguez, and Randy Johnson, and Edgar Martinez, and Ken Griffey Jr. Seattle baseball seems to be cursed. And maybe the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl can change things for the Mariners, or at least people's mental state. I don't really believe in curses, but the positivity angle could be a real thing. Either way, this has been a rough start to 2026 for Seattle, but the skies are beginning to clear. The Mariners have won 6 in a row now, and they have the best roster in the division by far. I think the Athletics would come in number 2 on the kind of roster ranking, but they don't have the pitching needed to compete with the Mariners all year long. So it was only a matter of time before things changed out west. Julio Rodriguez is hitting and playing a good center field. Randy Arozarena is a complete hitter. The infield is starting to play well with Cole Young and Brendan Donovan. Super prospect Colt Emerson was called up and is starting to put things together. And Cal Raleigh will return and start hitting dingers again soon. The rotation has been extremely solid as well. So once the bats start hitting, then Seattle should run away pretty quickly. The only starter having trouble in Seattle is Luis Castillo, and I think that is in the process of changing right now. He's had 2 solid back-to-back starts, and then the bullpen has been solid. The Mariners will be in the postseason again this year. And just for your information, I think the Athletics, yeah, I said it earlier, I think they make the postseason, which will help boost their popularity before they move to Las Vegas, where the Golden Knights are in the Stanley Cup Finals. I know very little about hockey, so the fact that I've picked each series right this postseason is pure dumb luck. And I'm not going to go into details about why teams are advancing or losing, but I will pick the Stanley Cup winner for you right now. My gut says it's time to hop off the Vegas bandwagon. And Carolina has been dominating force all season. But I'm sticking with the Golden Knights. Again, I do not know much about hockey, except hot streaks are a real thing and can carry a mediocre team through a postseason. And I say Vegas is better than mediocre. And I say the Golden Knights are going to be our 2026 Stanley Cup champions. Let's circle back in 2 weeks to either praise my hockey wisdom or laugh at me. Please jump into the comments. Let me know where I was wrong, how I was wrong, and let's hash it out. And please subscribe to catch my weekly rants. Enjoy the NBA and NHL Finals, y'all, and I will see you Friday.